It is November 13th, 2018. We're here at 1214 Meade Avenue in San Diego, California, 92116. We're here in the garage. We have new ABS drain and vent lines here for the laundry. We have a 2-inch clean-out access, so we're going to go ahead and go into this part of the system to confirm that the whole laundry line is all clean. And we assume that the laundry is running towards the house and not the opposite direction, that the plumbing from the house is headed back towards the garage and then through an easement to get to the city line. So this is all new 2-inch ABS plastic pipe, so that's what you'd want to see for a drain line underground, since you would have to excavate the concrete or walkway to get to it. So this was all replaced and installed brand new. Okay, here we have a turn on the system. And we have another turn on the system right here. And it appears that we're dumping into the main sewer right here. You can see the larger pipe coming into the system. Now there's some little bit of water and debris hanging out there at the bottom of the pipe, so you can see that there's a little lake of water. And there's some small little flotation debris just kind of sitting in there. So the pipe right here doesn't have perfect downhill slope, so it's collecting some debris right here. Now we may have the sewer line on the outside of the house. We have 2 bathrooms here. The first bathroom is behind the backside facing this garage, and then we have the original bathroom where we can see the sewer line actually exiting the house along the driveway's edge. So we're assuming that this line right here is the newer bathroom line that's coming across and should be headed possibly down the driveway, but we can't confirm that just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pause the video and run a little bit of water down the system here in the laundry and see if that will help our cable kind of maneuver past this spot that we're stuck at here at this T-junction. Okay, so this is as far as we can get, even with running water, just through that turn on the pipe. So you can see there's some standing water there, so there should be no standing water in the system. The pipe at all times is of course supposed to have downhill slope at about 1/4 inch per foot. So this line is all in the crawl space. We went under and verified, so it is all new plastic. So we can't make the number of turns on this part of the system, but we can see where this is entering into the crawl space. It's all exposed under that part of the house. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and move our camera to above the bathroom, which is essentially where we're at right here when you're seeing the video screen right here. Okay, so we moved our camera over to the rooftop for the back side of the house. There's our kitchen vent. That's all new plastic pipe in the crawl space. Has a very short run before it dumps into the main sewer. There's the garage, small pipe you can see on the rooftop. That's the vent for there. Here we have the black vent for the shower stall. Here is the vent for the lavatory, and this should be our toilet vent for this bathroom. So we're going to go ahead and go down here. This empties into the main sewer. Okay, so we're now in this new plastic ABS pipe, 3-inch, that's running in the crawl space. So this is all exposed. Now we're running across, and we're going to be leaving the foundation wall of the house. So we're essentially traveling from east to west, and then here you can see we're making a turn. So we've got a transition into cast iron pipe and a turn on the line, and this turn is a T-junction. So you can see that this is appears to be a right turn where it's headed north. So it appears that this line is headed into the backyard of the property. It's possible that there is an easement in the backyard, and that's where the sewer main is for a couple properties here on this street. So we're now in the main sewer. Okay, this pipe here has a lot of water hanging out in it. So this is incorrect here. Something's going on where we either have improper slope or we have an offset or misaligned pipe that's acting like a dam holding this up, or we have some debris in the line, either debris that was flushed down or some roots or some other intrusion that's holding all this water up. So the unit is currently vacant, so we know nobody's been living here other than realtors that stop by and maybe run some water down the system. Okay, looks like we able to get by that part of the system, but we still have a lot of debris hanging out in the line here. So we're going to keep just pushing our camera. Sometimes once we come backwards, we will get a view of everything. It'll kind of wash off the lens. And it looks like we've just got a lot of hanging water there in the line. So we're just going to keep pushing here to see if this eventually clears. This is a problem because this will allow all the debris to not flow down the line, cause major stoppages and blockages in the system. Okay, our lens may have some debris on the face of it now, so now we actually don't have a very good picture because we've got a lot of debris in the line right there. So we've got some, let this kind of wash off the face of our camera here. So what we're going to do is, because we've got a lot of debris, we're going to go ahead and run some water through the system and see if that flushes off what's caked up on the front end of our camera so we can get a clear view of all this. Okay, so we've pushed out pretty far on the system, and we're going to go ahead and let this water subside that we shut off and start to pull back. I believe this line is into the backyard, but we're going to slowly pull back on the system, and then we'll do some locating if we find any problems. But this may be running through an easement, so come backwards through the pipe here. Again, we do have some water still running. So this is cast iron pipe, as you can see right here. So we backed up about 10 feet. This does look like a larger pipe, so I do believe this is possibly a 6-inch pipe, and this may be, again, a shared part of the system from one of the neighbors as well. So there's the line right there. Got a lot better view. Okay, here we have a transition. Somebody had changed out part of the pipe right here to plastic. This could still be 4-inch. It's really hard to tell inside the line sometimes. So somebody has dug up and repaired this part of the pipe here. So we've got about a 5-foot section or so there that's been replaced. And then you can see then we immediately turn into that T-junction. So off to the left, that is either part of the system that is picking up the other bathroom from this house, or the distance that we're out, we think we're actually possibly, that's either just a T-junction they used as a turn fitting, or the back side of it may be picking up one of the neighbors actually. So what we'll do is we'll pull back just a little bit more here. So there's this cast iron straight coming up to that. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second and go ahead and locate this. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located this sewer pipe where we're at right here with the camera, which is before that turn on the line, and this is actually in the neighbor's backyard. So when you're in the backyard of this property, 1214, and you go into the backyard all the way to the brown fence with the lattice work, the neighbor on the other side of that appears to be sharing the line possibly, because as we go forward, and this pipe is already, again, right here before we've even made the turn, is in the neighbor's yard. It's past the fence, and we can see a couple clean outs, 3-inch clean out plugs in their backyard. So it looks like they must be possibly the line that might go ahead and enter in on the back side of this T-junction we see right here to the left of our screen. So we're going to go ahead and pull back now because that's a shared pipe. It's still this homeowner's responsibility as well, but we're not on the this property. So now we're going to back up. So you can see we've got this standing water still. We're not running any water on the system. and for some reason this line, the bottom of the pipe could be slightly rotted out. That could be why the pipe we saw just about 10 feet ahead of here had replacement. And so essentially a little groove is getting chewed out in the pipe, and that's why it's holding that water. It's either that or the line was just never installed with proper slope. But again, it's extremely old pipe here, so we wouldn't give it too much lifespan left on this part of the system irregardless. So you can see we came out of that little ditch just a little bit. This is all original cast iron. You can see the flaring of the pipe on the right and left sides. That's the pipe swelling inwards. It's literally flaking and kind of crumbling apart essentially. So it's still intact right now. The line is still functional. I can't guarantee how fast it would, or how often you would get stoppages with this really rough edges of the cast iron pipe. You can see all those little lines on the bottom. That's going to snag and hold debris up. And then again, any of those pockets where you have standing water, that's going to slow heavy debris from moving down the line. It's same as all these little mounds are going to catch and hold things as well. So keep coming back across the system here. So we wouldn't give this cast iron much lifespan left on it. We're not finding any root intrusions or any full cracks on the top or sides. Again, that bottom is extremely suspicious. Can't guarantee how well it would handle if it had to be snaked or hydrojetted. Those aggressive cleaning methods, which are the only ones out there, can go ahead and cause very old and weak pipe to kind of break and crumble. So, line is still intact, just in getting to be in poor condition, as you can see here. Take a little snapshot photo of this. We're going to go ahead and pause for a second just to go ahead and locate this in the backyard to see how deep it is. Okay, we've located this line. The spot we're at with the camera right now is just a little over 10 feet before you get to the backyard fence. So from leaving the house, more kind of by the kitchen sink side of the house, and walking straight back along the patio deck, we're about 10 feet before you get to the, again, the wood fence with the lattice that's separating the neighbor, and that's where the sewer's headed. It's 28 inches deep. We're going to put a small chalk mark there just to denote for everybody where it's at. We're now going to go ahead and just continue to come backwards on the line, see if there's any other issues. See right there, we saw a little bit of debris hanging. I don't know if that was just some cobwebs or some other debris. I want to make sure there just wasn't any roots of any type. It's kind of hard to see. We've got such a little lake pool of water across the bottom of the line. As you can see here, we basically have no view. So we're in a very small 2-inch access point, so we cannot put any type of centering guides on this 1-inch camera to bring it out of the water enough. And again, usually pulling in reverse, we'd have a better view because we're not pushing into the water. But from this particular vent, that's as best as we can do. So we're back into the ABS here at the edge of the foundation wall of the house. So we do have the original bathroom, which also has cast iron for a small portion, and then some ABS replaced under the house, and then goes back to cast as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and leave this camera right here on the edge of this T-junction, and we're going to go ahead and put a second camera where we have a bigger access point from the other vent, and try to go ahead and see across this line and see if this is obviously the T-junction, which it should be, where they come together. Okay, so it's starting to get dark outside, so it doesn't look like a good view right here. It's dusk already. So there's the back garage, you can see kind of lit up, the driveway. Here's our original 4-inch cast iron vent for the front bathroom. This pipe is actually exposed outside by the driveway. That's how old of a home this is. The pipes are not even actually in the walls of the house. A bit of cobwebs and debris right there. We'll see if that flushes off. Here's the turn on the line where this vertical pipe, which has just picked up the toilet, now transitions into horizontal. You can see in the back side there, the camera kind of flip-flopped. That's facing the beginning of the line. There's an old, buried clean-out underground, no access to it. Okay, so now we're facing down the sewer main, the very beginning for this bathroom. This is exposed under the house where we're at right here now, finally. So this is in the crawl space. It's somewhat shaded under the dirt, but you could get at it. And then you can see right here we transition to plastic. So somebody replaced some of this cast iron with plastic when they redid part of the bathroom. And the 2-inch tub line and lavatory sink line tie into here. The tub drain was leaking when water was run by the glue trap, so that's going to need to be cut out and replaced or repaired. Not a complicated thing. Now you can see here as well, this is all brand new plastic pipe, but whoever put it in didn't check the slope properly with a level and or a camera after installation. So you can see we also have standing water in this pipe here. Should not be the case. We have another 1-inch camera here we're using, but we do have a centering guide on the end of this, so we have some fins that bring it off the bottom of the pipe, and we're still underwater with this. So you can see that we're completely underwater with this line here. So again, this line was not installed properly, and this needs to be corrected. Now, we have no view again because we got probably a bunch of liquid and debris in the face of our camera there. This line we can see from the crawl space does transition back to cast iron. So we'll see if we also have a little issue with the connection point for those two as well. So this entire pipe is going to need to be redone. You can see all this stands and just not draining out. So either we do have a stoppage or a partial stoppage or a dam up here coming up. Otherwise, that pipe was just installed improperly. Okay, we're still completely underwater. We cannot see anything on this part of the system. So maybe we do have a blockage or some other big issue. Okay, we're still underwater, no view. Okay, we finally have a little view. So this is the original cast iron on the side of the house. Okay, you can see some sludge and debris right there. It's hard to see if that's just debris or any part of the wall of the pipe that's kind of failing and some roots getting in. There's a lot of little chunky debris caked up on that spot right there. I'm going to back up here. You can see the walls of the cast iron. Got a bunch of debris caked all over them there. Coming through a rough spot here. Okay, so just completely full of debris and underwater, so we cannot say that there's any roots in here, but it does appear that the cast iron pipe is not letting anything pass through this system here. Everything is just blocked up in the pipes. So we're going to go ahead and try to move down the line here. Again, we're just collecting, pushing a bunch of debris on the system here. Got some debris hanging down right here. See if we can wash it off. Okay, it's just cobwebs, it's not roots. But again, as you can see in the bottom of the whole cast iron pipe here, we have nothing but standing water. So everything's not draining down and out of the system. So this can lead to immediate stoppage once somebody's residing in here and putting a lot of debris down the system from flushing toilets and whatnot. So again, we have absolutely no view whatsoever. The entire sewer pipe here is just full of water and debris. Nothing's moving down the pipe the way it should here. Okay, so we've cleared, went by another little area, so we've got somewhat of a view again. So we're going to back up every time this happens, kind of come back and see if we can see any evidence. Okay, goes back underwater, so we're going to keep pushing forward right here. we're at a pretty good distance. I don't know if we've come up to the T-junction where other cameras at. When we're underwater like this, we can't really see anything, unfortunately. So we should be coming up to it soon if we didn't pass it already. And it's possible we did because we're at about 80 feet. So should be getting into the backyard relatively soon here from where we started. You can see all this water on the bottom of the pipe is just not draining down and out. Keep moving down the system here. We may have already passed this point with the other camera. Again, we were underwater, I believe, when we passed the T-junction where we left the other camera on the line. Because it looks like we're coming up here at 100 feet, and this looks like it's coming up on the T-junction. Yeah, this is where it picks up the T-junction we saw. And this is again in the neighbor's yard already. And then here's that repaired pipe that was redone that we passed earlier with the first camera. So we couldn't see the T-junction where these two come together. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and push our other camera in a little bit farther and see if we somehow see it on the way back. What we're going to try to do right now, we're going to go ahead and pause the video and go to the neighbor on the other side of the fence to try to see if we can have them flush their toilets to see if this is a shared pipe in this part of the system. So we went to the neighbor's property, and they're going to flush their toilets for us. So we're just going to push down this pipe right here, just in case the T-junction is a little bit farther away, and see if any water starts to run by our camera here. Kind of underwater here, so we're going to back up a little bit. There we go, right here. So we'll see now if in a few, there we go. We've got some water running by the system there. Okay, so that's what we wanted to see. We're going to back up a little bit more to the ABS junction. Oh, there's a bunch of debris trying to roll down the line right there. So you can see there's a bunch of toilet paper and stuff kind of clogged up right there. So definitely is a shared pipe, so that's good news, bad news as far as the way the system is put together. So what we're going to do is we can only get out so far with this, but we're going to push as quickly as we can. We've got about 150 feet on the line here, and we want to try to get down the line as much as we can in case there's any other problems with the pipe that we need to show. Again, it is a shared pipe, so it would be both homeowners' responsibility to get this fixed. It doesn't look like we're going to get much further than this, approximately 130 feet. You can see there's some debris in the face of our camera there, kind of slowing us down when we're out such a long distance. So back up on the pipe here, a bit of water and debris. Again, he did flush the toilets for us, so we can see some water running by the pipe right there. So the cast iron here is still intact. Again, extremely old pipe, so we cannot guarantee that this is going to last 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years. There's just no way to tell. The worst thing that could happen would be that it starts to back up and clog a lot, and then a snaking or hydrojetting has to be done, which again, to clear the pipe, has to be done, and that could damage or weaken the pipe any further. So coming back up here, here's the newer plastic pipe that repaired done in his backyard, the neighbor. So that's the T-junction where they do come together. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second. Okay, we were just checking to see if the neighbor was still out there that did that for us. So we're now going to pull back on this part of the system. So this is all what we've seen already. Now we did push our other camera in a little bit further, so we will see if we can actually see where that junction is that they come together. Again, this water never leaves the bottom of the pipe, so I believe the bottom is starting to get corroded away here. And also due to possibly just original installation, a poor slope that was installed to begin with. So again, this is a real heavy area here where we just can't see anything, so we could be passing our camera head easily around this point. It would make sense about the distance we're at now starting, so we're probably not going to see that camera head. There's a little T-junction, not T-junction, piece of pipe we saw there. But again, until we bounce up, oh, there is our camera head right there, actually. Our spring is on the left-hand side of the screen, laying in the system right there. So there we go. There's our orange push rod. So this is where the two pipes come together and become one. So what we're going to do, see, there's the T-junction right there. You can finally see that. We're going to back up right here just in front of this T-junction, and we're going to go ahead and locate this on the property and just mark it to see if it's outside the foundation wall still. Okay, so we've gone ahead and marked with some more chalk on the side of the house, right outside the kitchen corner edge of the house. Again, that's where this sewer line is running, outside the foundation wall, and then that other pipe comes from the crawl space. You can see our other push rod for the kitchen, laundry, and added bathroom, and this is where they come together. The pipe right here is about 20 inches deep. We've marked it again with some green chalk out there. So the pipe is pretty shallow. They may just never achieved a good depth to get really good slope on this pipe. More level to 1/8 of an inch per foot, if that. So we're going to again go ahead and back up on the line. You can see all that little debris caked up in the pipe here as we keep coming backwards. That's due to the rough edges of the pipe and the slope and the age of the cast iron not letting things pass down the system very well. So you can see all that. That may even be some small roots intruding right there. It's possible. See one little twig or branch. I can't guarantee that's roots though and say that it is. It does appear that it could be. That's our first time we've seen something like that with that debris on there, so that's possible. Again, we don't give this pipe much life left in it. It's going to have to be replaced relatively soon. Again, now we're back underwater here, and we're just not getting any kind of view of the system here. So especially coming backwards with a centering guide on the front of our camera, we're not pushing any water, so we should really get a okay view of the line, but we're just not. So you can see as we pull back, a little wave spreads that stuff apart. We see a little bit, and then it folds back over again. So this line, again, is going to have to be altered when it is replaced to try to get a little bit more slope on the line as it's passing under the house and then along the whole side of the house. Not much more can be achieved, but they're going to have to do what they can to try to get a little bit. So as you can see, we're just completely underwater here, so things just aren't going to move down the line, and this can lead to a lot of buildup and stoppages. So from our perspective, this does need to be repaired and replaced. It may be functional for a while, but we cannot guarantee how long, both between stoppages as well as the failure completely of the whole cast iron itself with its age. We're coming back up the vertical vent right now, so that's the end of this line right here. We'll just show we're coming back up out. Again, it's completely dark outside here. Kind of hard to see, and looking down the driveway right there in front of the house. So that concludes this recording.